Welcome to the porch. Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Now here's your host, Michelle Barras and Brian Swanson.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the porch. My name is Michelle Barras.
And I'm Brian Swanson.
And we are Denim and Pearls.
With pearls of wisdom.
Business casual.
Oh, gee whiz. Okay, business casual.
With pearls of wisdom. From the porch. Proverbial porch.
Yes, one of those things. So what are we here to talk about today?
We are talking that people are strange when they're with strangers. Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Definitely. And some of it can be strange with, any reason not whatsoever. It doesn't matter. But I think you actually had a direction in sight here, not just to talk about my strangeness, right?
No, we can start with your strangeness.
Oh. So how do we warn people not to talk to me?
Don't talk to strangers. No. This subject came up because of social media. I mean, there's been so many turmoily things going on, and then there was a new platform that started, Clubhouse, and there was another one called Parlor. I mean, there was a lot of things happening, and
Right.
We came up with the whole idea of social media and people are strange because I started getting very strange requests, and so I thought it'd be a really good idea to talk about people being strange on social media and learning the nuances of when and when we should not friend or link or whatever the word is on the platform with these people. And then the other thing I wanted to make sure we talked about at the very beginning is, for those of you who have not noticed, we have our first 3 sponsors officially on our page.
Yay.
And I'd like to thank our technical team, aka Brian, for making this happen, because although it looks nice, it was a difficult process to do because of the way StreamYard is made. So it was quite interesting how we interestingly did things. Well, he did.
I learned things over a period of about 5 hours. But that goes right back to what we were talking about last week, where things aren't always as easy as they seem.
Mm-hmm.
The signs say this is easy, but I went back through, and yeah, the process was easy once I figured it out, but there's little caveats here and there. And when I brought logos up and stuff, it just totally destroyed them. So I had to figure out what was destroying them.
Brian is strange because he meticulously sat there to do that. And sometimes strange is good. Berlin says hi, and Nicholas says hi. And we'd like to thank our sponsors, ASquared Promotions and Inc. 182, and of course, Harmonized Brain Centers. All of them are located here in Colorado Springs, but if you are interested in being a sponsor and you're not in the Colorado Springs area, still reach out to us. Our email is...
Oh, you want me to go to that one?
Yes,
there you go.
There it is. denimandpearlspodcast@gmail.com. Write us and say, hey, I'm interested in sponsorships. Send me the application and we can work on that, because you want to be part of this, because we're not just in Colorado Springs. We are kind of everywhere. And yes, I am reading that, Brian. Thank you so much very much.
I had to throw the "are you reading that" in there just for fun. Maybe somebody else will go, yeah, we're reading that. Oh, we got one other thing to do today too.
Right, as Gerline, what?
We've got to give away a Clubhouse invitation, remember?
We get to.
We get to. We don't got to, I guess. We get to.
Got to. No, we get to. And it's a wonderful thing. So you have to be live on the show, and we'll give out a Clubhouse. And then you also have to have an Apple phone or device or something like that. But we do have a gift for anyone who's on here. We will put you in a little bucket, and we will draw a name, and we will write you and say, hey, do you want the Clubhouse invite?
Yes.
And if you already have one, we'll go back to the next person.
Sure. We'll figure something out.
Okay. So social
find out
media,
who's worthy.
Social media people are strange. I have had so many fun interactions, and I get to tell our producer and Brian about them. And I wanted to address friending. Do you friend everyone, or do you have some sort of criteria? Brian, let you answer first.
I have lots of criteria. In fact, they might be a little I don't know. I look at them from a different perspective. I get different things in. And the first thing that I look at, especially on Facebook, is I look at the profile. And when I look at the profile, I have to make the judgment call. Is that profile locked down because they're trying to be secure? Or is it a stolen profile? Because I run across that a lot, where somebody tries to make something up. Or my uncle, who's been friends with me for 16 years, all of a sudden is friending me again. It seems kind of weird. So you've always got to look and see what the profile does. A lot of times too, the profile will tell you who they are. Sometimes it's just a reminder of who they are, because when you're doing networking and you're doing a lot of different stuff, you don't always remember everybody's name. You might remember what they do and you slightly remember the face, but since you're not shaking hands with them at the moment, you got to kind of look and see, okay, oh yeah, that's that guy or that gal that I met 2 weeks ago over on Clubhouse. So we got to always really kind of pre-screen before we accept. And then of course you get those really fun ones where it's, oh, look at me, come take a look at my picture because I want to show you more pictures of me. I kind of have a tendency to get rid of those. There, I threw a little bit of strange in there for you. Oh, I shouldn't have said it that way. Anyway, go on, your turn.
I do the same thing. I will look at their profile, see how many friends we have in common, but not just how many friends, which friends. So I will check to see how many friends we have in common and in what area we have them in common. So I could go and say, oh, these are all coaches. Okay, I know these people. They're really, I've been working with them. Or, okay, this is a social group. This is a group of people that I hang out with. And I assess where I've met them or where I possibly could have met them. And then I decide, do I want more of that or less of that? Because the other thing I'm doing is I'm purging my list. I'm at 5,000. So I have to be really careful on how many people I let in because I'm at my max. So I don't just let everybody in anymore because of that. Before I was looking really quick and look really quick. Okay. Never expecting to ever hit the max. But now that I have that max thing, it's like, I need to make sure I know you. And then the other thing I'll do is I'll read like 4 or 5 posts. I'll look at the first one that I see and I'll just kind of throw the page up. You know how you just kind of scroll it up and then stop and read another one and then scroll it up and stop. And what I do is I'm basically doing a photo version of who are they? And are they controversial? Are they offensive? Are they putting half naked pictures up? I mean, whatever it is that doesn't work well with my demographic. And if they don't, if they match that and they're doing okay, I'll hit friend. And then I write them and I'll say, thank you for connecting. Facebook is not cheers.
Yeah, Facebook is definitely not cheers. Everybody might know your name, but they don't know you and you don't know them.
Yeah.
Now, Bill also, or Nicholas brings up, you should get to know who they are before you get to a business association.
Well,
not friend and ask what you do.
Well, that's the next step in it. I mean, first it's friendships. And then that's the other thing is business acquaintances.
Right.
Like when we used to be able to go out and meet people at networking meetings, I would not take cards. If what I do is I take their card, I'd look at it, I'd look them up on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it may be, check them out. If I like them, I'll friend them and I'll write immediately.
Right.
Hi, Michelle, I met you at, BNI, on such and such. I was sitting next to your friend, John.
Right.
And
it's a credibility line.
And then I'll give them back their card. Because the thing is, I don't want to keep the cards. I just took all their information I needed from it. So they can use it for someone else. So with business acquaintances, there's 2 types. There's business acquaintances and there's potential client acquaintances.
Right. Well, I think there's also another difference too, because you're getting to the point where with almost 5,000, I'm not quite there, but I'm starting to get a bunch and things like that. However, that's what business pages are typically for.
Yeah, but
or your group or something like that. They don't necessarily have to follow you. And if you play Facebook games or whatever you post on your Facebook, and I understand there's a lot of stuff as far as the algorithms and stuff like that. And most people will see your personal page first, but you've also got to draw a line there. Do you treat your personal page as a business page to a certain degree, or do you just send some of those acquaintances or less over to your business page and say, yeah, follow me? That way they're getting your business information, not your personal information.
Here's the thing, and with me personally, there is no line between business and personal.
No,
I'm sharing the same content either way. So I have a business page, but we've even seen this with the algorithm on Denim and Pearls. When we share Denim and Pearls on my business page, we might have 5 watchers, 5 people total see it. Put it on my private page, my personal page, and we hit hundreds. My personal page reaches more people than my business page. And so I've moved away from my business page, and I only use it to announce conferences, book signings.
Right.
It's for events, because everything else is open book for me. It's all the same.
Well, that is in your particular thing, but we've got other folks out there that they may have a restaurant and they have a restaurant page. I always want to go to restaurants because they're just so easy to familiarize with. But just because you're the owner of the restaurant doesn't mean all of your business stuff is going to be on your business or on your personal page.
No, and that's different. That's different.
Right. So I think everybody is a little bit different on how they manage those pages. Yes, I understand if you have a business page, it doesn't get as many, it doesn't get seen as often, different things like that. And we're just talking Facebook at this point. But Instagram, you've got all those other ones.
There's a difference in the business pages. I am a social person. I talk. I use video. Okay. There are other companies like Inc. 182 or Harmonized Brain Centers, ASquared Promotions. They're not doing videos of them, making cups or making shirts and hats or working on someone's brain, So on their business pages, they can put, information and data, and that's great. And then they're completely separate as their business. As a person like me, as a coach, I am the same person both places. So there's really no need for me to have a business page. But people with actual physical addresses, like restaurants, very cool to have a place where you can put menu. Well, like my favorite restaurant here in Colorado Springs, the coffee shop.
Right.
Right. They were able to, all through COVID, say, today, this is our special. We are down, we're out of milk, so we only have this today. We're going to close at 2:00. I mean, so they were able to communicate very directly to their clientele through their business page. If it was on the employee page and everybody was, doing it off of their own private pages, it's like no one would know what was going on.
Right.
So yeah, you have to have separation. I'm just an anomaly when it comes to that.
Right. So what's your criteria? I mean, we talked a little bit of criteria, but what's your criteria for that first impression? Again, we go back to last week's signs, but what's your first impression of, this person's not coming on my page?
Honestly, it's the picture.
Well,
the picture, if it's seductive or if there's no picture at all, if I can't go onto your page and see a face or you interacting with another human, you're more than likely not real to me. So I do not friend you.
Right.
Or in my case, like you were helping me with, the guy who friended me every day for months with a different name. And I told you I stopped counting at like 35. I stopped seeing it. I stopped reporting it because he just kept changing. This face kept changing their name. And it was
profile completely.
Profile picture. I'm like, wow, that's a handsome guy. He has one picture and it looks staged. And he has no post. Okay, not going to do that.
And we're probably not even sure that was the actual guy.
I know it's not him. I'm pretty sure he's an actor or something. And he's got a lot of beautiful, majestic actor-like pictures. Because, okay, how many people? Okay, raise your hand. How many of you meet people and say, hey, can you take a picture? And you do this.
Oh, of course. We all pose.
Or you pose like this. Okay. Whenever there's a pose and the picture is just way too clear and too perfect, something's wrong. Unless it's a glamorous shot or an obvious professional picture that they meant for it to be that way. But you're walking on the beach, there's no sand on you and your hair is perfect. Something's wrong with that picture. Someone pulled it from a magazine. So no, not going to friend you.
Well, let's hit a commercial, and right after that, let's talk about some of those other sites and maybe even get into some personal interaction. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us on the porch. We share the nuances and lessons we've garnered from throughout our combined 40 years of life experiences. Talk from the porch is always serious, but full of laughter, and we're glad you're here with us. Like, share with a friend, and please subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And remember, join the conversation every Friday at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you on the porch. Thank you for joining me on Denim and Pros. My name is Michelle Moras, and this is my co-host, Brian
Swanson.
We are business casual with pearls of wisdom from the porch. And right now we are in the proverbial porch because Brian is out in Indiana, taking care of his lovely mommy. And okay, that is our YouTube channel. We still need at least 20 of you to go over there and like the YouTube channel so we can get rid of the VIN number at the end of it so it can say Denim and Pearls Podcast. We'd appreciate you to please go over there and also like our Facebook page if you haven't done so already. If you're on here and you're listening and you're watching, please immediately share this live feed onto your page so that we can share. Especially you, Gerline. Man, you got a following, lady. We'd appreciate it if you share. So, Brian, what did I say? What did I miss?
We didn't miss anything. So I think what we do want to talk about is we were directly talking about Facebook because we have the opportunity to say who follows us, who doesn't follow us, who we like, who we don't like, make those judgment calls, all those other kind of things, judge that book by its cover. We can do all of that through Facebook. However, if you look at Instagram or you look at Twitter or you look at any of these other social media things, everything is just follow. They either follow you or you follow them. And I think the only place that we really have a judgment is whether we follow them or not. I don't think we can choose whether they follow us. It's not quite the same thing. So do you put, I guess at this point, it's a matter of not judging the person by who they are or what their profile is or their avatar, as I keep hearing the term lately. I think it's more or less whether we want to follow what they're dishing out.
Exactly. It's a judgment call, and if you want to expand into that realm. So I'm even pickier with that, but
yeah. Well, I think some of it too, because if I go, for instance, I go into your profile in one of those other social media applications, I can see who you follow. Mm-hmm. And if you're following, like 30 of those girls I was talking about earlier, that's going to be a judgment call on your personality.
Well, yeah, I've had friend requests from men who only women are following them. And I'm like, what is with that? Something's up with that. You've only friended girls. Yeah. You can block specific followers once they initially follow you.
Well, that all depends on the social media. Some of them you cannot even do that. The other thing is too, is once you're into, say, Twitter, you can block some of those posts and things, but you're also blocking the public. So that was a big issue back when somebody famous who is no longer on Twitter now, but was at the time and blocked a couple people. When he done it, he heard a lot about it just because of the fact that he was stifling the public opinion.
Okay.
So being a professional and being a celebrity, if you will, can also kind of change the rules a little bit too. I mean, if you're personal, and you block somebody, no big deal. You just don't want to see their stuff and you don't want to hear from them and you don't want them posting about you or whatever. But once you hit a certain level, if you will, of celebrity, you can't block them because it's not good. You're leaving out. What's that?
People are watching you and judging you by every block you do.
Exactly.
And that's why the hide feature is so nice.
It is. If you can just say hide and they don't know it. Yeah. Those
hide for 30 days on Facebook. I've never bothered on any other platform because it's never been an issue on other platforms. The only time I have problems with social media and people being really strange is when they tag me in every post. I'm going to the restaurant. tag Michelle. Why are you tagging me to the restaurant? I'm going to the restroom, tag Michelle. And so I go back and I untag me from things because it's like I already have a news feed from thousands of people, saying, hi, Michelle, I thought about you today. And, those kind of things, to be tagged whenever someone, let's say someone does a video and they tag me in their video. Every time someone says a comment on their video, I get a notice. So I'll be on, I don't know, Instagram, and there's a reel going on, and I'm getting tagged for everything. So when I go to Instagram, I only check it once, every 3 days. I go on there, and my entire feed is all about their reel. I will untag myself, move myself off of that because it's ridiculous. So you have to think about when you tag people in your post, do they really need to be tagged? Or can you put them inside of a comment and say, Michelle or Brian, you need to see this? That's fine. But to be tagged into the main post, it's quite painful for someone who has a lot of traffic on their page already. So think about that. It's not polite.
Well, I also say it's not polite because usually when I get those kind of tags, it might be a friend that's actually doing it, somebody that I appreciate, somebody that I do business with, somebody that I know, and it's all fine and dandy. But when you look at their post and it says there's 39 people tagged in their post, you're looking at that going, well, wait a minute, you're basically spamming me.
You're spamming me.
So I'm going to turn that off because I don't really care about it. It depends on what it is. But in most cases, when people do 39, 52 different tags, that's because they're trying to spam and they're trying to reach out rather than going through their business pages and stuff like that. Because business pages say that you're not supposed to be able to tag personal in Facebook anyway. But in Instagram and stuff like that, they still can do the same thing. And you get this thing and you get this guy he's talking about the walk up Pikes Peak and he tags 52 people. I'm like, what do I...
Well, what they're doing is that person is trying to be put on 52 other people's news lines, and it's like, just make a comment. If it's that personal, you really want me to see it, tag me in the comments. But to tag me in the main one, you clog up the system, and it's a pain. So like when I put out videos or a new photo shoot spread, I'm real careful about not tagging anybody in that because those things hit thousands of watchers, and it's like my guts if I tag them. So I don't tag people, but inside of the comments, I'll say something like Arlene, I thought you'd love that dress, something like that. And then she only sees that. Hello, Arlene. Now, what's funny is that Arlene is sitting right on top of her own logo.
Right on. Yeah, she is. She's right on top of her logo. That's awesome.
Arlene with ASquared Promotions.
Yes. So, but some of those other, those other trails that can take you off into things, sometimes we just don't have an ability to judge. We don't have ability to make a call on who follows us and different things like that. All we can do is basically say, hide their comments so that we don't see their comments. We don't necessarily have to get rid of them.
Well, and the other thing about it is you don't have to get upset. So let's say you friend somebody. She is always on top of it. She's on top. She's A squared, A+. But the thing is I know a lot of people who will get friended or followed, and then they'll look at somebody and do, why are they doing that? I can't believe and they get upset about it.
Right.
Don't get upset about it. Don't get even about it. Just if they're that upsetting to you, block them, unfriend them, hide them, don't follow them back. There's so many other things you can do. So like in my case, I get a lot of messages on the back end where people say, hi, Michelle. And I do, well, hi back. And then crazy stuff starts happening. And you ladies know what I'm talking about. Crazy stuff starts happening. And I have to be very nice about it and say, thank you very much, but no, thank you.
Well, a lot of times, some of those things that you're talking about, though, I mean, you can also report them.
Yeah.
A lot of time for inappropriate material or whatever. I don't think it's always just the girls that get it, but I just think it's more prevalent.
Because the guys aren't going to refuse it. The girls are like, huh? So, and that's my whole thing is don't get upset. People are people and people are strange. People are strange. That's why we call it this. People are strange, and give them some grace. Maybe they find you crazily attractive. Great. but don't get angry. Report them, block them, period. Be done with it.
And that's usually what I do is I block them and then I move on and I forget about it.
Yeah. But I know people who get really upset and then they kind of get dwelly in it. Don't dwell. Life's too short to dwell on things you don't like. Just hide, delete, block, report.
Well, there's a lot of people who too that will take it kind of personal.
That's what I'm saying. They get upset.
Yeah. Well, they'll take it personal. Like this guy must have seen me or this gal must have seen me somewhere and now just thinks I'm this and I'm married. Why do I want this kind of? No, don't think about it that way. It's just.
It's very superficial. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah. It's spam. It's garbage. It's whatever. I mean, we all have to even pay attention to our emails and everything else now. Not everything gets captured by the spam blockers. We still get certain things. I mean, it's crazy. My mom got a thing in the mail today, and she doesn't even hit the internet. But she gets a thing in the mail for her car warranty that she hasn't had the car for 3 years. Now, if she took that personal, that would make some really hard brain mud, if you will. You know, these guys are idiots, and you throw it away.
Yeah, I've received a car warranty thing for the car that was the car accident I had 5 years ago.
Yeah, and all it is the fact that these people are buying a list, and they got an old list, and they got probably shafted by the guy who sent them the list because it's not up to date.
So that's the whole thing about people are strange in social media. Take it with a freaking grain of salt. You don't need to be so serious. I feel like the Joker. Why so serious? You don't need to take life so serious. It's social media. The things that you are seeing online aren't always real. If you go to my Facebook page right now, you've got this great picture of me doing this. And I'm like in this ball gown. I do not look like that. So
you look just like your picture. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think so. But anyways, take what you see on social media with a grain of salt. Do not let it rule your world or allow you to change your emotion. Okay. People put on social media, be it Facebook, Instagram, TikTok on the clock, whatever it is, LinkedIn, they put it up there specifically so they look good. Okay. So, or some people are, what do you call them when they're just out there just to bug you? What are they called?
Stalkers?
Not stalkers. There's another word for it. Well, anyways, they come up there just to attack. That's all they do is attack. Understand that there are people like that. People are strange. Let it go.
This is an interesting question. And I'm going to preface this with the fact that I seen a meme yesterday that said,
trolls. Thank you.
Trolls. Yes, there's another one. There was a meme I seen yesterday that said, tell me something that a saying that your kids will probably never hear. Something like along the lines of get up and change the TV channel.
Yeah.
Okay. So this kind of takes us back in time with this question with Nicholas. And it kind of makes sense. How did you meet friends before social media? Do you act differently on social media? And I think it is a good two-part question. How did we meet folks before? How did we judge them before? And do we do it differently now on social media?
You don't want me to answer that because yes and yes. I mean, I met people by running into them on accident or speaking to them or meeting them at a grocery store or at a restaurant that we passed by and I liked what they were eating. And I said, ooh, what is that? I mean, I meet people because I'm always talking. Do I act differently now that I have social media? Nope, same thing. I will watch people's feed, and when a friend shares something or if I see something, I'll say, I really like your way of thinking. I mean, I'd love to connect.
Right.
So I still do the same thing. It's just the momentum, the amount of friend requests from people I've never seen is overbearing. So that's why I do so much more research, because now I can't see their body language. Their pictures on their page is how I read their body language. I look at their friends instead of who they're drinking with or eating with or whatever. I can't make that judgment call that, oh, they're drunk and rowdy and they're kind of rude to the waitress, it's wait staff. I can't see that. So now I look in their page to make sure, are they people that I would be willing to have in my world? Because when I bring people into my world, I'm bringing them into my fold of people who who look for inspiration, who look for positive thoughts. So I don't let people into that world, just like I wouldn't let them into my old world. Well, old world would have. But if I met them personally, I would do the same thing. I would weed them out on being people I want to be around, energy I want to be around, and would I expose my family and friends to those kind of people.
All right. I have something else too. And let's do that right after this commercial. I know it's going so fast today.
Thank you for joining us on the porch. We share the nuances and lessons we've garnered from throughout our combined 40 years of life experiences. Talk from the porch is always serious, but full of laughter, and we're glad you're here with us. Like, share with a friend, and please subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And remember, join the conversation every Friday at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you on the porch. I just realized I'm wearing the same shirt in the commercial.
Are you really? Well, this isn't a ball, so you don't have to worry about wearing the same dress 2 times in a row.
Oh, we have to say it. Thank you so much. You are watching Denim and Pearls podcast. My name is Michelle Moras, and this is
Brian Swanson.
We are business casual with
Pearls of Wisdom
from the proverbial porch. Thank you for joining us today. Our topic is people are strange, especially on social media. And Nicholas asked us a question. Well, he says a statement. We used to shake hands and have eye contact. That doesn't happen anymore. Well, some of us still do that. Some of us, before we friend people, we still say, hey, can you meet us on a Zoom call or something like that? Or we're going to have a group call. Why don't you join? And I'd like to see your eyeballs. I'm an eye person, so I still do that eye contact. I still do that virtual shake and eventually make plans in order to meet them in person.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to cover is the fact that when we used to do a lot of networking and stuff, and I had talked about this before, we always we shook a hand and we made we all prejudged that first impression. Mm-hmm. And maybe we get a chance to do a second impression or whatever, but we also have to make that impression take that impression in essence with our business. So do we want to do business with that person was a big question mark when we were talking about this in networking, and we were talking about handing out business cards. And when it comes to that, what we always taught was the fact that you get the business card, you shake hands, you do your friendlies and stuff, but then you have 2 separate pockets to put your cards in.
Yep.
One, it goes the pocket that, yes, I definitely want to follow up with this person. And the other one, maybe in the back pocket or whatever, is the one that when you get home, you reach in, you take it and you throw it in the trash and you forget about who it is. Okay. We made judgment calls that way. Mm-hmm. Today, I think we make our judgment calls, especially social media wise, by looking at people's social media and seeing who they are. And I'll use an example. I won't talk about who or anything, but I've gone through a couple pages here lately where the person might be a coach or the person might be a professional of some sort. And you scroll through their page and all you see is politics. I'm a big thing with keeping everything neutral across the board because, with all the businesses that I've had, all the businesses you have, and the perception that we're trying to put out there, our brand doesn't say politics. It doesn't say religion. It doesn't say cars. It says professional. And our pages, personal pages, our business pages, all should reflect the same thing. Because if I'm looking for somebody that I want to do business with, the last thing that I might want to do business, and this isn't necessarily true, but one of the last things I might want to do is do somebody who's just irate about politics, or irate about something else. And it's like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense because this person that you're portraying over in this other social media is all, great things and roses. But yet I go over to your personal page and all you're talking about is this. And it's like, wait a minute, that's not the kind of person that I want to work with. That's not the kind of coach that I want to have. That's not kind of business that I want to follow or whatever it might be. So I think we all have to be careful on what we are, our personal self. We don't want to be the ones that's strange. What's that old saying or that new saying lately? That guy or that gal
or that Karen. Yeah.
Or that Karen or Kevin or whatever.
Well, but that's the whole thing about I say it, you're the same person on stage as you are off.
Right.
And if you are not, then you're in the wrong business. And it doesn't matter what the stage is. Okay. It could be whatever your business is. If you portray yourself as one way, you better be that same person when they meet you in a grocery store. Okay. Because you are your brand. We talked about this before. No matter what, you are always your brand of your company. And I get kind of passionate about this. You might have to reel me back in, but body language is far beyond just our bodies nowadays. With internet and social media and people being very strange, our body language is our presentation online. Be it the way we write on emails, how we text people, the pictures we put up about ourselves. I mean, I've seen incredibly professional people on stage, and then I go to their social media page and they're like heavy drinking and like half naked and, doing pranks on people, and they're rude. And I'm thinking, you are not the person I thought you were.
Right.
And so that puts a disposition inside of a person's mind. Then if you're not the person I saw and I wanted to do business with, then what other surprises are you going to give to me when I'm working with you? And so it puts doubt in the mind of whomever might be hiring you. So think about what you're posting and realize that even if you're 16, 20, and you think, yeah, this stuff is going to go away when I'm 50. If this stuff is still here, once it's on the internet, it's forever on the internet. So if you want to be crazy and say you only live once and you're like flashing body parts to cameras and putting it up, it will find you.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Jobs, that's what they do when they're looking at hires. They look at the resume, they go, oh, pretty, and then they go to LinkedIn and see how many people they know that you know, and then they write the people and say, what do you think about Brian? Because you've got a resume, we know that you fit. I want to know who you really are. And so they go ask other people. So think about who you friend, because if you friend the person who thinks it's funny to talk smack about you and say, yeah, I was just joking, and you lost $180,000 job because of it,
right?
Think about who you connect with, especially on something like LinkedIn. Do you want that person connected to you if they're going to think it's funny to badmouth you when it's not you?
Right. And 100%. Everybody, there's all kinds of exceptions we can talk about, and exceptions to the rules and the great things. And I think we keep it for our conversation here. We're turning to the fact of, we don't want to be that person. We don't want to be the one that's sending off a bad message, because as we know, everything is linked to everything. Whether it's 4 different types of social media, or if it's, finding your email address, or if you had a bad thing in your background and you've got a court record of some sort, good things, bad things, all that stuff is on the internet. It doesn't matter. You can find it. And the thing of it is, a lot of people will go, well, that was secret, or that was whatever, but they don't realize that it's a public record. And then on top of that, all you have to do, even if you Google it and you don't find it necessarily, a lot of these programs out there now that you pay $5 or $4.99 for a month, and you can look at anybody and all of the information that's out there on the internet.
And I can assure you, companies have it.
What's that?
I said, I can assure you, companies have it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They got an HR person sitting behind the computer doing this number, looking at your profiles and looking at and even if you lock them down, there's even some of them out there now that will ask for your password, or give them access to your stuff, friend them, just so that they can see, what you've posted in the background. And I even told my kids the same thing back, when they were 10 years old or 11 years old or 12 years old. Be careful of what you've posted. What you post, because that's going to look bad at you in the long run. Well, by the time I'm getting a job, they'll never see that. Yeah, they will. It used to be really easy on Facebook, for instance. You could go through and there was a little thing on the side that said
timeline,
1989, 1990, or however long you've been with Facebook. And you could click on that year and see all the posts from that year without having to scroll. That's one of the things I wish they wouldn't have gotten rid of.
Yeah.
But, everybody can always look back. And even on Instagram, for instance, it's not hard to get from the top of the page to the bottom of the page on Instagram. It's just a few swipes up. And
some people's jobs, that's all their job is, to look for dirt, to make sure you fit the culture of a company. So think about what you post. Think about what pictures you put up. It really is your body language. We talk about body language being, how you walk, how you talk, how you dress, how you stand up. And then I also add in how you drive. If you have your business name on the side of your car, same thing, social media. Who are you on social media? Are you the one who's always antagonizing anyone who puts a post up? Or are you the one who gets onto some bandwagon no matter what? As I think Nicholas said it earlier, you have to be careful what you post so that you don't polarize your audience. Like if you have, like our people here, our sponsors, they serve a very large, broad audience. So they would not want to say, hey, let's go on Denim and Pearls. We're going to be their sponsors, but they're going to talk all about sex today. No, we're not going to do that, because we can't do that, because we also represent them.
Right.
They believed in us to be sponsors because they know that we fit their demographic, and that the people who watch us also fit their demographic. So therefore, we cannot polarize our own sponsors, and we won't polarize any of you watching, because we're here to serve all of you. We're here to help all of you. If you will have a question, we'll answer it. But we're not going to say, anyone taller than 5'2", I don't like them. No, we're not going to do those kind of things, because they make me feel short at 5 foot. We don't polarize anything. Because
I think a lot of that comes down to trust, the old-fashioned thing called trust. No like in, what's the last word? No like and trust. Okay. Our sponsors are trusting that we are going to represent them well. We're trusting that they're going to represent us well. It's the same thing when we talked about, when we talked about networking and giving referrals to somebody. Would you ever refer somebody out that was a jerk? Probably not. Now, if you don't know they're a jerk, that's different. But if, they're representing you because that was your reference. Mm-hmm. And I've actually had people come back to me and say, why did you refer this person? And I'm like, I didn't know they were that bad. So they're going to come back to me. And the next thing you know, I'm going to say something to somebody. Yeah, probably don't want to use Johnny, because Johnny just took my buddy over here. So now, and as we all know, bad words spread much more rapidly than good words do. Mm-hmm. So we've always got to be careful with that. You've got to represent who you're representing. You got to represent your brand on who you are. And touching base with somebody that is strange, and define strange, okay? That's a rhetorical statement. Define what strange is, because we all have different versions of that.
Yes, but it's to your perception of what you consider strange.
Exactly. And what fits your brand or don't.
Yeah, what I would tolerate would not be what you tolerate, vice versa. I'm not saying strange from our point of view. It's strange for whatever you feel is your level of, I'm not comfortable with this. I mean, I've had things come and you're like, well, why don't you just tell them blah, blah, blah? I do. No, I'm actually kind of having fun with this. People are strange, and I'm actually learning from this interaction. I'm not taking it personally. I'm learning. I'm learning what to do for the next interaction. So I'm a people watcher. So I tolerate a little bit more before I take action. Why?
So what makes you so patient for something like that?
I'm a coach.
Oh. Yes, I'm flipping through the things so people can see everything.
Oh. Well, that's the whole thing about it is I'm very patient, because I realize that people are all going through their own little thing. And sometimes people reach out and say things when they're really wanting to say something else. And so I listen, because I realize that sometimes people are hurting and they're just reaching out for someone to recognize that they're there. And I don't want to be the person who does, you're such a jerk, click. Because I might have been the one person they said something to, and all I have to do is say, you'll be okay, I believe in you. and it would
Right.
save them. So I am very patient because I never know who I'm talking to. And so I listen to make sure that I'm not slamming a door on someone who really, really, really needs me to keep that door open. And I've had some really great relationships come out of that. My instinct of, okay, what's really going on? Why are you saying this kind of stuff?
Right.
And if they blow up on me, fine, blow up. Do you feel better now? Is it my turn now? You know,
Well, sometimes we just have to be a shoulder to be yelled at, you know?
yeah. And so I allow myself to be that. Now, if it ever crosses a line where they're attacking me personally and I'm starting to feel bad, I will stop that so fast it's not even funny. Your head will spin. But I'm very patient because I do understand that people need people. And they are strange. I'm
I
strange.
think that's a good place to stop. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd like to thank everybody for joining us. And we would like to give out special recognition today to, let's see, ASquared Inc. or ASquared Promotions Inc. 182, and over there on underneath Michelle, Harmonized Brain Centers, for being our first sponsors on Denim and Pearls. And
Official.
we'll call it a day, and we'll see you. What's that?
First official sponsors.
Official.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining us on Denim and Pearls. My name is Michelle Moras, and this is my co-host,
Brian Swanson.
We are business casual conversation with
Pearls of Wisdom
from the proverbial porch. Please join us next week, Friday at noon Mountain Standard Time, or please go to our Anchor page or Apple, whatever, wherever you like to listen to podcasts, and subscribe there too. Definitely go to YouTube, subscribe. We need you. Please share this. Have a watch party. We love you all. See you on Friday. And
Well, wait a minute. Before we say that, don't forget, we're going to be on Clubhouse here in the next 15 minutes to carry on the conversation, or you can just join in the fun.
okay, and we're about to pull on whoever wants that Clubhouse. We'll pull a name and let you know, and then we'll invite you in. Okay, so if you get a message from us, you got a Clubhouse invite. Have a great
Awesome.
week. We'll see you in about 50 minutes, maybe. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for joining us on the porch. We share the nuances and lessons we've garnered from throughout our combined 40 years of life experiences. Talk from the porch is always serious, but full of laughter, and we're glad you're here with us. Like, share with a friend, and please subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And remember, join the conversation every Friday at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you on the porch.